ET here. The date, August 2, 52. Location, Tuola Sports Hall, Helsinki, Switzerland. The venue, the final heavyweight boxing match featuring Big Ed Saunders. He's from the USA, 6 feet 4 inches and about 220 pounds, versus the Swedish amateur champion, 4 inches shorter, 2 years younger, and about 190 pounds. First round, the Swede circles the ring. He's very close to, in fact, touching the ropes, as a much larger Saunders lumbers after him. And the crowd, is getting angry. It's hissing and booing at the non-action. During the break between rounds, the referee demands that the Swede engage his opponent, although the Swede's trainer is saying no. 2 minutes into round 2, the referee disqualifies the Swede, who's then escorted from the ring by local police, and the crowd, including his fellow Swedes, is issuing boos and catcalls. The result, Saunders stands atop the dais as the first American to win the heavyweight title in the Olympics since Sam Berger took it back in, I think it was 1904. And Ed Saunders is the first African American to win that title. But on December 11, 1954, a little over 2 years from taking that Olympic gold, Ed Saunders was dead. And that Swede, on 14 September 1959, he knocked out top-rated Eddie Machen in the first round. And on June 26 of that year, 59, he took the world title from Floyd Patterson. The Swede's name, Ingemar Johansson. Ed Saunders today remains a question mark, along with Teofilo Stevenson of Cuba. Many believe that both men could have taken a title had, Stevenson turned pro and Saunders remained alive. Well, there's no doubt Saunders would have been a fan favorite. Big Ed Saunders, born in the Watts area of Los Angeles. At Jordan High School, he excelled in academics, football, track and field. Then later on at Compton College, Ed continued football, but took up boxing also. And he was all boxing when he transfers to Idaho State College and studied under Coach Dub Holt. In 1951, Ed, now married with a son, joins the Navy. It's during the early years of the Korean War, and the draft is on. And Ed learned more about boxing from the Navy boxing team. Saunders would be transferred to San Diego, where he would beat the Navy heavyweight champion. He would go on to win the Golden Gloves championships in Los Angeles, Chicago, even Berlin. Saunders next climbed even higher in order to qualify for that Olympic team. In Omaha, Nebraska, he was defeated by an Army corporal named Lloyd Willis, and it was a first-round knockout, and that may have led to later problems. Nonetheless, Saunders advances in the finals, and 10 days after he had that loss, he avenged it, despite having a broken hand, by knocking out Willis in the first round. After winning Olympic gold in 52, Saunders continued, he's still in the Navy, the Golden Gloves competition. And his last fight as an amateur was in Chicago, and it was against a popular St. Louis fighter. You may have heard of him. His name was Sonny Liston, who was, according to Frank Mitchell, scared to death of Saunders, but he beat the hell out of him. One newspaper said Liston, boxing only 7 months, whipped the 6 foot 4 inch Saunders with some stout infighting. Well, not everybody agreed. Some who were there and saw the fight said that stout infighting was actually illegal clutching, and others said Saunders beat Liston. Well, after that, Saunders, still in the Navy but needing money, turns pro, and he wins 3 by KO or TKO, but he lost a 4-round decision to a relative unknown, Willie Wilson. Saunders attributed the loss to poor conditioning and severe shoulder pain. 2 fights later, he took an 8-round decision over Wilson. Then he would draw with the very formidable Burt Whitehurst. Then he wins a decision over Burt over 10 rounds. His next fight is on Saturday, December 11, 1954. The place, Boston Gardens. It's against Willie Cadillac James. He is New England heavyweight champion. He's Saunders' former sparring partner. Now Saunders, before the fight, is complaining of very sore shoulder and terrible headaches. And those who were attending him said he seemed very listless. Well, looking at the fight. Now, most everybody understands that Big Ed Saunders is going to beat Willie James. George McGwale, he writes for the Lowell, Massachusetts Sun, said these words: Big Ed Saunders is the coming heavyweight champion. Well, the hard-hitting James came out slugging, and he kept on slugging through the end of the 10th round. And he had Big Ed down at the end of the 10th and almost out with a powerful right uppercut. As round 11 begins, Willie James, noting later that Saunders seemed absolutely spent, James unloads a combination of punches. They floored Saunders, who's lying on his side, unconscious, breathing very hard. After being carried from the Boston Garden on a stretcher, Saunders was operated on for 4 hours as neurosurgeons are trying to relieve pressure on the brain. And later, Big Ed is packed in ice. It's to lower a very high fever. At 4:30 p.m., December 12, that's the day after the fight, Big Ed Saunders is dead. His age, 24. His wife is by his side, thus ending what many assumed to be the presumptive next heavyweight champion. So, questions linger. What if Johansson, back in 52, had been allowed to continue fighting, following the pattern that he used against Floyd Patterson in the first of their 3 battles? But would it have worked against Saunders? And another question, would Saunders, getting more experience, putting on some more weight, would he have been able to run through the ranks of dangerous men like Big Cat Cleveland Williams, Nino Valdez, Zora Foley, Eddie Machen, Patterson, and eventually Liston again? Like so many what-ifs in boxing, these questions will be forever debated, but never truly answered. And that, boys and girls, is the story. Did you like it? Tap the thumb up icon. You see the bell? Tap that too. You'll be notified of new uploads. And please share the videos. And very important, write in your comments below. Thank you.